Hello everyone, Funky Fresh Funktilda here, it's ya boy. So today, or yesterday, I drew this yesterday, on the screen here I should say, I'm drawing Angel Husk, and I recorded the entire process because I'm insane. Or rather, I realized that being recorded while being in the very beginning stages of the drawing didn't really affect the outcome as much as I used to think. Like, if I don't like the result, I can just delete the video. Also, I have screenshots from The Secret of Nim because I was originally going to draw these characters in a more whimsical, faux Disney style, but as I worked on it, I realized that I didn't really feel like doing that, nor did I need to. In fact, I ended up drawing more or less in the Vivzy Pop style with the line work and the shading. I like how she draws. She has a whole series of speed paints on her channel, and they're fun to watch. She has a very colorful style. She doesn't even need to say anything while drawing, unlike me, who's currently talking over a speed paint. Anyway, the reason I'm drawing Angel Husk, or Dusk as I like to call it, is because there was a brief moment recently where a bunch of comics shipping these two characters came out, and I thought it was interesting. Because, could it realistically happen in the series proper? Normally I don't even feel comfortable talking about a piece of media like this, making fan theories or analyses or anything, because there tends to be a lot to cover. Avatar: The Last Airbender? I've watched the series all the way through twice, which is quite a bit more than usual for me. But compared to a lot of people who like to binge and cringe while wearing their fringe, compared to a lot of Avatar fans, that's shockingly low. And I definitely would not feel up to the task of analyzing these characters because I feel like people would be like, hey, that's laughably wrong. Remember in Season 2, Episode 3 when the character did this? But I know the basic character dynamics, obviously. Aang is childlike and playful, Katara is the mom, Sokka's the snark, Toph is edgy and fearless and can't see, and Zuko is dark and brooding and stuff. He wants to restore his honor. And Appa can't talk. And really that's all you need. I know enough to where I can laugh at the funny Tumblr posts. I like the headcanon where Toph can, should, must, and will say the F word. The only reason she doesn't swear is because it's a show for network television. You can't do that. But guess which series can have swearing, and does, and only has one episode and one music video, which makes analysis all the easier. Yeah, it's Has Been Hotel. By the way, I have no idea what the word has been means. Is it like has been, like a hotel for people who used to be sinners? Except it was called the Happy Hotel before Alistair did the weird magic thing at the end of the pilot and changed the name. Will the reasoning behind this strange name be revealed in episode 1? Who knows? I don't. Also, by the way, you know how a common critique of the show is that there's too many characters all crammed into one episode and everything goes by too fast? Well, that is a good critique, but for all of us has-been fans, it means that we get to see more characters on screen and we've been introduced to them in fully animated form, so there's more interactions and stuff. It doesn't make for a good episode necessarily, but it makes for a good time for people like me, desperate for more animated content. Like, in general. You know that whole live action thing? Yeah, it's been done. It's time for the more whimsical stuff. Anyway, what I really wanted to talk about here is shipping. You see, as I said, or rather implied earlier, characters, good characters, can have a lot of complexity and depth, but can still be boiled down to a simple description, like the snarker, the leader, the child, the edgy sad boy, the wise uncle. If you've seen Avatar, you didn't even need me to put up images of these characters. Now, how this pertains to this dumb internet cartoon with the gay spider demon, well, Angel is the flirt and Husk is the edgy sad boy. Naturally, they work well together. Now, as far as I'm aware, the closest thing Angel has to a canon significant other in the traditional sense is his platonic friend, Cherry Bomb, who asks Angel if he fancies himself a mate in the Attic song, and is generally close with him in the pilot as well. But of course, Angel being Angel, his actual love interest is just anyone who pays him enough money. I would like to imagine that if this were a mainstream corporate production for general audiences, the executive's first instinct would be to give Angel a girlfriend with pink fur, eyelashes, and tits. But Angel already fits that description, so I suppose the solution would be to give Angel's partner even bigger tits with even bigger eyelashes and even pinker fur. Or just scrap all the characters, move it out of hell, and make it into a completely different story about exploring a world of colorful aliens that love to dab, browse TikTok, and listen to popular music. And then that movie immediately gets a sequel, and one of the movies somehow gets a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, even though nobody actually remembers anything about it. Oh man, it really went off topic there. So what if Husk was Angel's love interest? Well, in the pilot he does say he'll f*** himself if Husk is willing to watch. That's definitely way more chemistry than most characters in animated productions have. So I can totally buy it. And of course it's adorable to imagine that this grumpy little cat has a soft side, even though he would rather double die and suffer for an eternity in double hell than admit his true feelings. Naturally, there's a whole bunch of Angel Husk stuff in the Has Been Hotel subreddit. I was just reading through it and I noticed that a lot of them are straight up having them be a happy couple, where Husk has completely gone through his tsundere arc and is just happy to be with Angel. And I was also thinking about something that happened when I was trying to come up with a cohesive story for my own characters. So I've been working on this rough outline for an original story involving my OCs. I recently posted this drawing of Ashley Squirrel, no relation to the flustered rabbit girl that appeared in my earlier videos. In fact, I didn't say her name in that post because I was considering changing it, but I decided to leave it as is. It's grown on me by this point. I have more information about her in my Introducing My OCs video. Basically, she's a confident diva who loves expressing herself through fashion and music. So I was like, this character totally likes women. She should be a lesbos. But who to choose? Whomst is the lucky girl? And I originally thought, well, her girlfriend should be this identical copy of her that has pink fur instead of brown, who I still don't really have a personality for. So what happened was I actually drew the pink squirrel first, and I became sort of infatuated with this design. I mean, it's a very simple, approachable design. And while I was experimenting, I drew an alternate version of her with brown fur that I ended up liking better. But here's the thing. I had anxiety. I was a little obsessive-compulsive. In fact, I still am. So I didn't want to just abandon this old character. She had to stay in some form. I just felt like she had to. No one was making me, but I kept her around. I kept drawing her. And then later when I was doing some basic outlining, I was like, well, Ashley just has to be head over heels in love with this character that looks exactly like her in every way, except she's shorter and has pink fur and also has exactly the same personality as her. And then much to my shock, making a compelling story for these two characters was really difficult and frustrating. Where the fuck is the conflict? I wondered, scratching my head. So I abandoned that outline, which as it turns out is very normal. Almost no one gets it right the first time around. And later I realized, hey, I have this fox girl character named Olivia who's very shy but is quite expressive and fun-loving when she gets comfortable. I mean, she couldn't possibly have anything going for her. Hey, what would be completely stupid? If I shipped Olivia with Ashley. And immediately I had an idea for a complete story with a compelling arc, as well as much more developed personalities for both characters. Yeah, it turns out when two characters have contrasting personalities and contrasting visual designs to go with them, it actually makes the story better, not worse. I had this idea that both characters have to be a completely perfect fit for each other, everything has to go swimmingly, they have to look alike, think alike, blah blah blah. But no. When I shipped the shy girl with a confident diva, it made for an interesting subversive narrative about self-exploration, self-worth, even sexual discoveries. Like, hey, maybe Olivia doesn't know she likes women until she gets comfortable with Ashley. Now this may very well be completely obvious to a great many people, but for me it kind of shook things up because I used to be afraid of doing weird things. I grew up very straight-laced. If you told me 3 years ago I would be writing about tsunderes and lesbian squirrel girls and gay spiders, I would not even know where to begin. Well, I mean, I still don't believe it, but the alternative to all this is just a boring, normal life, and I've gotten to the point where I'll pick the most interesting option, no matter how uncharacteristic it is of who I might have thought I was as a person. Whatever intrigues and excites me, basically. So yeah, if you're watching this and you're the kind of person who feels that your stories have to make perfect logical sense, and your characters have to fit perfectly together and you don't feel confident telling other people your takes on media because you're scared of being called stupid and wrong, well, just read the page about crack pairings on TV tropes. In fact, look at the page image. You can ship Benedict Cumberbatch and Shrek, and you might tell someone that you ship, I don't know, Shrenedict, and they'll go, that's fucking stupid, you're a fucking idiot. Old Cumby would never be into Shrek. This is empirically supported in this scene where Shrek explicitly states that he doesn't like detectives, I don't know. The point is they can say all that, but the universe is just going to continue to allow you to do this. Also, even in actual movies, it is possible to love someone more than any human woman has ever loved a rabbit. So basically, anything goes. You can ship spiders and cats, you can ship cats and dogs, you can ship foxes and squirrels, you can ship humans and rabbits, you can ship ships with other ships, you can ship ships with canals. But yeah, Angel Husk, that's a thing and it's cool and it was fun to draw. I think this drawing came together quite nicely. Thank you everyone for listening to me. Thank you to my supporters on Patreon, even though I don't really post to my Patreon. Thank you for lighting up my Discord channels and my Twitter DMs. I appreciate all of you. Also, yeah, I said that whole thing earlier, but then I think about the idea of shipping radio dust. I mean, Alistair is asexual and would never be interested in Angel and Canon, plus the dynamic is much better when Angel is super into someone who not only doesn't reciprocate, but has something funny to say as a dismissal. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's fiction, who cares? Just keep it to yourself. Just don't be a